every single artist is always told that they are not going to make any money. You're told, you say, oh, what are you going to school for? It's like, I'm going for art. Like, oh man, glad you don't like money. And so
so rude. But
it is.
Hello to everyone, Anatoliy is here. Today in our Ecom Business Stream Podcast we have a wonderful lady. This guest, she's helping a lot of brands in the past less than 2 years. She will help 30 plus brands to bring out their name on the market with the unbelievable unique designs on their labels, on their products, and she helped them out to build the designs because she's the real artist and she is the great lady business owner for the Byrdi Branding agency, where she's helping exactly implementing the art design for the different products out there in the United States market. And in the same time, she decided to open her own brand, which is calling the Rag Dealer, which is super unique items, which is really not for the broad audience, but when you have this item, you understand how unique it is and how cool to show up on the social medias with such kind of products. Mostly her clients is the business owners and corporations, which is purchasing for their offices and purchasing this kind of rugs for all the kind of marketing purposes. So this lady will show you exactly how you make your name louder by just making the awesome design and how to build the unique view of your products in e-commerce business. So our guest today is the Rachael Vrielynck. What's up, Rachael? How are you doing today?
Hello, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. Happy to share whatever information people need to actually help them in this market.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited to listen it because we never had any artist business on the podcast yet, and especially it's related to e-commerce. So there is so many guys who are been, if we are speaking about my audience, there is so many guys who have been on the dropshipping and start building their brands, or they are thinking about build a brand and like, oh, I don't know about the packaging and so on. And here you go. You are the professional who done that already like over 30 times in less than 2 years. So first of all, I would like to hear your background about like how you got started, why you decided to go this way, not something else, especially in e-commerce business, which is far away from art, but how you implement those two factors together and they build something beautiful. Share with me, please, how that happened a few years ago.
I've always been an artist. I actually dropped out of high school and went to college to get my degree in fine art, which leaves you a lot of hands-on skills. There's always, yada yada about composition and how things play together. And I've done every job under the sun under that category. Tattoo design, I've done murals, I've literally, you name it, I've done it. Special effects, makeup, anything in that category. And I just hated the connotation that you're never going to make money as an artist. I'm like, but there's art everywhere. Every packaging design, every advertisement, everything you see was designed. And so I started freelancing. I didn't know anything about the marketing world. I quit my jobs and I just made an Upwork profile. And at some point I was doing all these website gigs and I realized the main problem I was having, I would have to stop all my website development to help them make a logo or to help them get a branding kit. Because if you're trying to make a website or packaging without anything, it's really hard to keep it consistent because you don't have anything to work with. You don't have any defining features. You don't have anything that sets you apart in any way, which is, again, like working with drop shippers. Like if you have a product that is in like a saturated market, as in there's a ton of other products, how are you going to stand out? It's like, just pick somebody to market to. You can brand anything in any different way for anybody. Just pick someone. You can't go wrong. If you have a candle company, it's like, are you going to brand it to edgy teenagers, or are you going to brand it to astrology girls? Are you going to brand it to 40-year-old moms who shop at Hobby Lobby? You can have one product, but just by like narrowing down who you're trying to reach and the aesthetics around it, you can open up an entire blue ocean. So it just really depends on who you're trying to reach, and you have to think about that. Do they care about the environment? Because now you can be like, oh, our candle's eco-friendly. So you can take any product and market it any way you want. And that's where I come in. Because as a creative, I can build out everything you need for that. It's not just your logo and your typography. It's the partnerships that you build around it. If you're a coffee brand and you're struggling to get into coffee stores, why don't you make a partnership with like a library? Because libraries don't have that partnership. You're not competing in that space with anyone else. And so now you can also build your brand identity around that. Like, hey, coffee for bookworms. Or if you're doing luxury brands and you're like, oh, we want coffee to go with influencers. Okay, let's make a partnership with like a Pilates studio because that's where all the hot influencer girls are. Why don't we just go to where they are? Sponsor them, sponsor a volleyball championship. Give them products, have them spread it for you because now you have content, now you have an audience, you have influencers to go around it, and you're already attracting the people that you want. So sometimes branding is a lot more than just your aesthetics. It's about who you're attracting, what's your main selling points, and what kind of partnerships can you make along the way. And I kind of put that all together so that way they can also go off on other strategies. Because I can also help them, like some brands will do really well on TikTok. So there's no point in running Facebook ads. And I happen to know a lot of people. I do not specialize in TikTok ads, but I will gladly send you the people who do. So when it comes to branding, I set everything up for you that I possibly can, give you the next steps, give you the connections that you need. And then I also build an entire brand deck. So when you do go to those other agencies, you have everything already outlined, what type of vocabulary to use, what kind of tone of voice to use, what your call to action buttons look like, all of those things. So that way, when you hand it over to your ads team, they know exactly what to do and you're not going back and forth with revisions.
Wow. Okay. That's really, you went deep with that, and I'm really wondering, how do you classify, how you accumulate the numbers, how it could be changed in terms of financial reasons by making brand more like visible, let's say, yes, so showing the real face, this is who we are, this is what we do, and this like switching them to this kind of approach with the libraries or with the influencers. How do you, really sell this idea to the brands? Because it's really important, because actually I love the idea. I love how I'm more than sure that it's super useful and helpful for the brands. But I'm wondering how easy for you to deliver the idea and transparency in numbers for the business owners. Like, I'm really wondering to hear your opinion about that.
That is the hardest part of my job. Because everyone sees only two ways to go. You go D2C, selling direct from your website, or, three ways. Direct to your website, only on Amazon, or in retail. And you can't have one of those as your main. But when it comes to like selling them on, hey, this is a new space, this is a new ocean, this is a new way of revenue, you're not going to know until you try it because nobody's done it. It gets a little tricky to work with certain people because they hesitate and they're scared and they think that they're going to just lose a bunch of money taking a shot on it. But a lot of times the best partnerships, you sell it by making it a mutual agreement. So if the library is getting a benefit and you're getting a benefit, you make sure that everyone gets paid in the process. So the library gets paid for you sponsoring them. The person sponsoring them gets paid because of the library. And so that way you have this nice cycle where it's like you have nothing to lose by making these partnerships. All you have to do is make the phone call and ask someone, like a genuine person, if they can do it. Because a lot of times everyone gets caught up of like, hey, we can't do that because we're going to have to go through this and we're going to have to go through that, which is often the case when you're working with corporate. But we're not in corporate. We are agencies, we are brands, we are entrepreneurs who have the freedom to take those steps. We don't have to trip over everyone trying to get things approved. So making partnerships where people have that same relationship help a lot. And selling it to the business owners of like, hey, this partnership is going to be really important for you can be difficult. And sometimes I just leave it on the table. I'll write it out for them. I'll make the outline. I'm like, hey, these are potential partnerships. These are potential people you can reach out to. And I leave it to them because I'm not going to hard sell them on something that they don't want, but it's there. And when they're ready to come back, which they often do, I'll help them set up those partnerships.
That's cool. So it means you making, like, for example, there is a soda water brand, and they like just getting themselves online. They kind of struggling to understand where they are going. I mean, and how that will be looks like in matter of years. Which is most of the brands at the beginning don't know exactly what's gonna be look like, and then you are coming and like saying, hey, I see you working, let's say, with this kind of beach area where is that awesome XYZ location, and if you're gonna be partnering with that place, it's gonna be a perfect like brand make it loud or louder voice of your brand. So are you looking for that? So it's something you selling the idea of the partnerships, which is you making the research and coming to them. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. And how hard is for you to figure it out? I mean, this kind of ideas. What can partnering with what, and how under which angle?
Like, how hard is it for me to come up with the partnerships?
Yeah, I mean, even with ideas like library and coffee, something not really related, but if you find out the right angle, which is make that idea attractive. This is what I mean, like the ideas itself. Is it hard to create on your way, or usually it's easy for you?
For me personally, it's really easy for me to make those connections once I know the target audience. That's kind of the main key indicator, because then I just have to go to where those people are. And that's the biggest thing, because you can connect where people go based on the brands that they shop, and you can connect those dots. Like the same people who eat at Chipotle drink Starbucks, because Chipotle and Starbucks have a contract to where their leasing buildings are next to each other almost all the time. You know, if you shop at Target, you probably also drink Starbucks. So now you have this profile. Okay, who shops at Target? Like, you know that they eat Chipotle. You know that they drink Starbucks. You know they shop at Target, which means they're not shopping at Walmart. You know, Target has a connotation, which means it's slightly more pricey, has slightly higher quality experience, which means you can also connect dots of like, okay, are they into fitness? Do they wear Lululemon? Do they go to Lifetime Fitness and then go to Chipotle afterwards? And so when you connect which brands that they also associate with, you know what looks they like, what feels they like, where they're hanging out, you know, where are all the fitness people hanging out and where are they going to lunch afterwards? And where can you put your brand in between those steps? And that's the important part. And that's where those connections come in. And that, honestly, I get the most feedback just because I go out and I talk to people. When you meet lots of different kinds of people, you can meet little different connections. And sometimes it takes longer to find a partnership that works really well. But you just have to find out where people are going and where can you be in between those steps. What are special events? You know, are there car meet Saturdays? Like, how do you sponsor that? You know, if your target audience is into cars and you want some cool energy drink in there, it's like, where's the car meets at? And you can start with small towns. You can, you know, make those connections. I think everyone overestimates how grassroots really are important. It's a lot easier to be the number one in your town than it is to be number one internationally immediately. Where, like, if I was to build up, like with the rug dealer, if we're going back to my ecom brand, I build really Nashville local. The partnerships I make are very Nashville local. I know a lot of them. And so when people say rugs, anyone in Nashville is like, I know somebody. And then you can grow out that way. Instead of me trying to sell to individual people everywhere, it would be overwhelming and I, quite frankly, wouldn't reach anyone. So you start small, grassroots. You start with home mom and pops. You start with like hometown games, hometown things, and you grow. You can always go bigger plays, but the home roots is going to make your brand a lot more relatable. You're going to have a lot more relatable people, and you're going to have like a meaning behind your brand. So there's kind of that, but it's like everyone wants to grow really fast. But if you just take it slow and you pick up with the smaller partnerships where you both get mutual agreement, it's going to grow a lot better in the long run. Because branding is all about longevity instead of direct sales.
How often really these kind of partnerships are really doesn't work on your experience?
It depends what you define as working. So this is where it comes into setting expectations. The point of the partnerships is not to make sales. This is the tricky part. There's two kinds. There's direct response marketing and there is branding. When you're going grassroots, that is the longevity of the branding. So that's your meaning, that's building up loyal followers, that's building up who you are. That is not direct sales. So sometimes when you're making small pops and like small little partnerships, you're not going to make like a ton of sales. It's not going to be traditionally successful, as in you're not going to see like money flowing in through the door, but you're going to see it in a different way. You're going to see it through referrals, or you're going to see it through more local things. It might not explode, but the overall trust that people are going to have in your brand, even when you do start expanding to a bigger area, is going to be way higher. Because if I'm going for a skincare brand, and let's say they're local and they're massive, they support, adopting puppies or whatever locally and actually making a change. When it spreads out and now they're a massive brand, it's like, hey, look at our small mission on where we started and look how much it's grown. Look how much change we've made in our community. Now you have a way stronger stance to connect with your audience. It's like you start with a little grain of sand, and as your brand builds and builds and builds, you're going to have this really nice pearl of an identity that people are going to really love and associate with you. So it just kind of depends what you count as successful. Immediate sales, they're not guaranteed at all, but you're not necessarily going to be losing that much if you make a mutual agreement.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And especially it's a great thing for the small local businesses before they like take off for big markets, or even if they are on the big markets, but they want to build as well a brand awareness in their city, in their region, in their states. It's something which is like, let people speak about it. I mean, I got it solved. The more partnerships, more sponsors on different events somehow related to the brand idea. That's cool. I never thought like how this stuff is working, which is like happening around these partnerships and sponsors, like what's the point of it and so on, especially when e-commerce exists, like run ads and get sales and build the brand. But definitely like community people, I mean, it's all from building from organic traffic, and in this case this is organic traffic offline, which is like you creating that kind of communities without even building that kind of community. You just like let them speak about you and on the places which they are feeling comfortable, and here you go, you're in front of them. Cool. So this means like you start doing that for other businesses, and you understood, because as I know that the drug dealer brand has been created end of December. First of all, I love the name. I remember in Nashville when we met, when you said the name, I was like, what? You selling drugs? Like, I was really like feel embarrassed that I didn't get the name, but it's catchy. The name is catchy. This is the main idea, I'm more than sure, and that's cool. And at least like I believe that I remember the brand even when I left the event before the podcast. I like, wow, that will be cool to listen about the brand, because the name for me means a lot. And tell me please, end of December, so it's completely new. How is that going? And I mean, why the main thing, why you have decided to go to your own brand if you make it branding for other companies, which is obvious reason, but still want to hear what inspired you for this niche, for such kind of brand, and how that is going after like 3.5 months, since it's super young.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of a background on the tufting industry. So you can actually see it behind me. This is a stand of rugs. So it's on a stretch canvas, and then you have a gun and it threads yarn through it. And it has only existed at like 2019 is when the first main tufting brand actually got established. It's called Tuft the
Wow.
World.
So it's
And
quite new, the
it's
niche
very
itself.
new. And it
That's
became a
good.
fad in 2020 when everyone was home alone and had more money than they knew what to do with. And so anyone who is tufting, it just did it as a hobby, did it as a fad, or they're an artist and they don't know business. So you have a very new market. Nobody knows about it. It's a very new crowd. And the people who are doing it don't know how to market it and don't know how to bring it anywhere. They don't know what to do with it other than make it for fun. And so I knew how to do this before I got into branding. But when I did get into branding, I was like, I need to know how everything works. I need to know how brands tie together. I need to know how marketing works. I need to know how advertisement works. I need to know how to build a business before I jump into this. Or I'm going to not know what to do. I'm going to be like everybody else. And so sometime last year, I started making rugs for my branding clients as an offboarding gift. I would make their logo as a rug and send it to them. And it would just be a complete surprise. They had no idea. And it was Nashville Geek Out with Nick.
It takes off.
It
with
does.
Nick Shackelberg. I was like, what is that? Like, you done well. So you said to me now, sorry for stopping you, I just like to share with you the thoughts. I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Portugal. You're locally trying to build Nashville, as you said, community and the brand. Ukrainian guy traveling around the Europe, came to Portugal, staying in Portugal, and I'm looking on my guys, my friends, like, what's fucking going on? Everyone has the same kind of stuff coming to their office, and they're like making stories. I like, no, obviously they helping some of the friends, promoting, but it's cool, unique thing, like that's something which is catch my eyes. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Okay, whatever. And when I came in January to agency founders, I like, what's fucking going on? Like every speaker has this. And later on I found out that it's you. And I can tell you, it's visible, it's catching the eye, so it's working, definitely. It's super unique. But since you said that it's completely new, since 2019 only exists such kind of methods to make this kind of crafts, means it's really like blue ocean that you can explode like in a matter of years. Okay, sorry for stopping, it's just my thoughts, like it's cool.
Yeah, no worries. And I'll tell you more about my long-term plans as well with it. But what really started is I made the rug for Nick Shackelford at his event in Geek Out, which I was actually working that event. I was helping checking people in, so I was like a hostess there. So that was cool. And then that actually led to Eddie Malfu from For Media being like, hey, can you make me rugs? Well, actually, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I have a great idea. How do you feel about client gifts as rugs? And he was like, you got it. He's like, can you handle 60? I'm like, what am I going to do? Say no? I have a month to make 60 rugs with me. And my little...
You're doing all of them by yourself?
Yes.
Am I right? Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, that's cool.
Yeah. I ended up having Nikita from Aspect, because we live together. He ended up just like having to like be a part of the business. So he backs the rugs and like irons on the tags and was like rolling yarn. I'm like, you're worth so much more an hour than rolling yarn. Just unbearable. So it was a little crazy because then I had 2 more orders, and in 6 weeks I had to make 120 rugs.
This kind of quantity of rugs you made for the holiday seasons, like New Year gifts, or it was after the New Year?
That was from December to like January 15th. Because then cool. I had to squeeze in a stand for all of the agency founder rugs. Because I was like, agency founders is in a week. I have to make these because I won't have a chance to see these people in person for like another 6 months. So I cranked it out, did some more, and it's just keep going. It just keeps going. And so
you were able to fulfill these kind of orders in like, wow, okay, that's cool. Yes, especially by yourself.
It's a little chaotic. So branding business is like, I'm coming to a point where I have to choose. Realistically, I would like to stay with both, but that is maybe not possible. I have a few designers who handle like work on the design end, and like a website designer and a social media person that are handling all the fulfillment on the design side. But agencies don't grow unless the founder is actively growing it. And I'm stuck between two different things. So right now it's looking like rugs are going to take over, because my main audience for rugs is you have agency owners. So I have reoccurring deals to where every time they sign on a new client, they just send me a form, they tell me the logo, I make it, I ship it out to their new client.
Welcome gift for the client. Nice.
Yes. And then, of course, client gifts at holidays. And then I do influencers. So I've done a rug for Wildcat. He's a YouTube influencer. And then I also have Puffer behind me. So I have to make a few more of those for his like giveaway drop, which is going to happen in the next week or so. And then there's a few other brands I'm working with, like Carte Blanche and Saint Potential. We might actually do a brand deal to where we'll make like 100 to 150 rugs for them to sell through their website. So kind of white,
like print on domain on the rugs.
Yeah.
I was thinking about to tell you, like, have you considering it? Because canvas, everyone already like got it. Okay, got it, man. What's next? Like print on domain t-shirts, but print on domain rugs for someone. It's a perfect e-commerce brand for home decor, like for home needs, like whatever it is. It could be different products, but it's gonna be like collection of the some kind of rugs. That could be insane, especially if they have a great traffic. You would be mind-blowing how you have to write it all of that canvas by yourself, all that rugs. So you were considering that, yeah, to partner with some big e-commerce stores.
Yes. So in the process of those partnerships, and right now in terms of growth, I cannot manufacture these overseas. There are a few places in like India and like China who do tufting on like large scale, but I can't guarantee the quality. I'm very meticulous about the way I make my rugs, and nobody else on the market makes them like I do. My rugs are insanely dense. So you know how when you push into a rug, you can like push away the fibers? You can't do that with these rugs. They're about 2 inches thick of just pure density. Where like when I first started making rugs, a 3 foot by 3 foot rug was maybe like 4 pounds. Now the same size rug is about like 10 pounds. So it takes 3 times the amount of yarn. It takes so much time. Every detail is carved, so you can actually feel every detail with your feet. They feel amazing. And so I have to actually train up a team to do this. So right now I'm going to local colleges and trying to find an art student that I can be like, work for me, because they're the easiest, the most interested, longevity of them. So that's where I'm at. Find someone, hire them, train them, expand where I have like a separate studio, which the goal is by like end of summer or December, have like an actual set studio for it and at least 1 to 2 people hired for it. Because my term for it is to have a team handling fulfillment while I pioneer the things that you can do with rugs. So you can make anything. And that's the part that I want to get to. So if you look right here, these are actually chair seats. So the limitations to what you can do with the medium, endless. You could make lamps out of it. You can make chairs out of it, tables. You can make anything into a carpet. And so being able to expand that is kind of what I want to do. So keep doing what I'm doing with the same clients, the brands, and those partnerships. Have a team built up to handle that fulfillment. And then I will work on the experimental side to where I'll make a YouTube channel and I'll actually show how I make new things, because I've reupholstered furniture before.
That is super broad. I mean, that could go broad because people love that kind of unique stuff to watch it, especially how it's making, I mean, the process.
Yeah, exactly. And the main goal is like people who care about making rugs are people who make rugs. But what if I reach an audience of people who just like to watch cool things? to where I'm not only hitting people who make rugs, but I hit the general audience to where it's really captivating for anyone to watch it. So that's the goal, because then I can get flywheel going.
You know how I create from this piece of carpet, this piece of art. Look, in next 60 seconds, I will show it to you, and you just like on the fast mode, showing exactly step by step, like whatever it takes you, like let's say a couple of days to make it, like all the video going through. It catch the eye. I mean, average kind of, you know, hacks, nice food, interesting, let's say, recipes for the food, and so on. When I'm watching the TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube, always like I'm looking like 5 million views, 6 million views. Like for what? He's cooking steak, 6 million views. You never seen how someone cook the steak, but I'm watching as well till then. Like, okay, cool. Now I understand. Like because like it's like take all your attention, and you like people love the general stuff, especially when we are busy, when we're stressed out. We want just to turn on the social media and relax our brain and like just scroll the newsfeed. And when you catch this kind of general things or unique things, like two things are catching your eye, actually more, but funny or general and unique. Unique, it's really like whoa, like someone made in Indonesia the Rolls Royce from the wooden Rolls Royce, put the kind of engine, and it's actually moving through the city, you know, and it's super unique. You just watching for 10 minutes how he made it, like what the fuck, why I'm watching it? But I'm just saying that this is the unique stuff, and what you just described, well done. I mean, you're thinking in the direction which is really will take off for sure. It's just matter of the testing. That's cool. I mean, I love to hear that. Tell me how difficult to find the proper materials for it. How difficult to work with the suppliers for it? Or is it like all these materials made in US, or you bring that from China or other countries? Because it's really like important questions to understand how you're dealing with that stuff, especially before you start expanding.
Yes. So I'm in the process of finalizing manufacturing on certain things. So most of my materials actually come from Turkey, because Turkey is, you know,
the best materials.
So
I was actually planning to ask you, is it Turkey? But after I decided to ask another way. That's cool. Okay.
Turkey's the place to go. I have made a few mistakes before. Knowing exactly what kind of yarn to get is very important. I should actually make a video on it. I could, on different types of yarns and how it looks. But I order from Turkey. Right now I'm trying to find a better manufacturer, because even though the yarn is like half priced, it costs the same amount to go to Hobby Lobby when all the shipping's done. So right now I'm trying to work out a partnership with someone local who does yarn, so I can actually ship through them. So like right now I'm going through Hobby Lobby, and they have this thing called rain checks, to where when they order a truck order, you can tell them everything, all the yarn that you need, and they'll order it with their truck order. So that's currently what I've been doing, because that way I can go there. I'm like, hey, I need like 50 rolls of white yarn, and I need like another 100 of black. And I cannot drive to 3 different Hobby Lobbies and buy everything off their shelf like every week. I don't have time for that. So doing those rain checks definitely help. It also helps with bulk pricing, because when I do a bulk order, I can order everything all at once, and it does save me a lot of costs. Honestly, Amazon products have really been coming in clutch for basic tools. My trimmers, tufting guns, the tufting cloth, all come from Amazon. Just because if you go to the tufting site, everything is like upsold. But I do this magical thing with my trimmers. You cannot get better trimmers. It just is what it is. But I use them so much that I break them every month at least. I have 2 pairs. And I break one of them at least once a month. So with Amazon, I just do a refund every month and get a new pair of trimmers every month. It's just the only way to do it. I go through them so fast. I've broken 6 trimmers just from how dense my rugs are. And I cannot fix them. I'm just like going back to Amazon. I might just get like some automatic recall on it. Like just set up like some simple, utilize ChatGPT, or some AI program to just automatically refund it and go through that process. I'll get there.
That's cool. Where are you taking the ideas? Just from the head or something inspiring you? Because it's completely product and art projects in general. So, I mean, to create something super unique, I mean, especially on the rug, it has to like take some kind of inspiration. What inspires you the most?
What inspires me? I don't know. I think I'm cursed to a certain degree. I can't stop making things. I'm the type of person who will walk through like a heap of garbage and I will see something. I'm like, I could make that. And so I always have a ton of projects on the side, like taking pedestals and disco balling them or tiling them or covering them in carpet. It just comes down to like what would be cool or what if that exists. And that's where a lot of it comes from. It's hard to describe from an artist side because a lot of people who aren't, as creatively inclined, like, how do you come up with that? I'm like, I think of it and I cannot stop the impulsive thought to create it. So I just start making it.
I see how passionate you're about it. I mean, I'm not even asking you any more questions about the agency side because you already mentioned that you need to choose, and actually the best thing obviously if it will be two working, but definitely I see how you are passionate about, and there is no nothing to discuss about what you're gonna choose. But this kind of stuff actually, it's super rare, and as you said, it's quite new. And it looks like with such kind of ideas which you have in your head and already implement some of them, especially welcome gifts for big corporations, for big agencies, that's actually really awesome and super unique. Clients will remember them, clients will be appreciated because they will never ever would got such kind of gift from anyone. So for now, later on it will be definitely available in several e-commerce stores and maybe even dropshipping space, but quality as well means different. And in this case, to build really a strong brand, you will need a lot of human power, like artists, really a lot. And you going through the university, which is awesome. I mean, because all the UGC, art designs and everything for the quite reasonable cost are definitely there. Especially people are super inspired to make difference in the world. And how is that going for you in terms of really approaching someone who would be about to join you? Have you already done that, or you just considering it? I'm just really wondering how strong the idea coming onto the head of other people as well, the artists. I mean, if you're looking for someone, how does it work? I mean, is it successful, or you haven't tried it yet, or you tried and people are really interested? Because actually this is the best idea, to get people from young age and grow them up, and they're gonna be one of your top leaders later on. But in the same time, is it hard? Because I never done it. I know that it's smart, but I believe it's supposed to be or super easy or actually super hard to convince someone young to do something, especially for idea.
I'm going with art students for a very specific reason. Realistically, it could be anyone can learn these skills, but there's certain soft skills I'm looking for. When it comes to being an artist, integrity is really big. If you meet any artist, the work that they put out is a part of them. It's an extension of them. So they're not going to cut corners and skip things because it's their honor is in their artwork and the things that they create. So finding an art student and having that internal personality trait is going to be really important, because they're going to be willing to learn and they're going to do it really well. Another thing is, every single art student anywhere, every single artist is always told that they are not going to make any money. You're told, You say, oh, what are you going to school for? It's I'm going for art. Oh man, glad you don't like money. And so
so rude.
I've heard it so many times. And even when I was younger, I was 11, and people were oh, are you going to be an artist? And I was no, I want money. But the thing is that I can actually appeal to that. So if someone's in art school and they're doing their own thing, I actually have all the tools to teach them how to grow their own thing as well. Where it's like, hey, you're an artist, you need to know how to start a business. I have all the information you could possibly want to start a business. Like, come work for me. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do the marketing materials. I'll show you how to do the content. I'll show you how to make the artwork. And so now I have an employee who actually wants to grow with me. They have the integrity and the want to build art. They have someone to show them how to do it. And now I have someone who wants to work for me more than anyone ever possibly would.
Wow. Okay, that's actually, you remind me one thing from my personal life experience. When I see some artists on the streets who are painting or doing an amazing, unique things with the piece of art, it's any kind of really, especially when I remember in Los Angeles, November 2021, I was like really shocked. There is such a great artist and they're on the street for a couple of bucks just doing some incredible stuff. And first thing in my mind coming like, why won't you apply for Disney, let's say, or let's say even Disney World? There is such a unique animations are going on these attractions. Like there is a lot of places, Lego, where you can do implement these incredible skills and do not stay on the street for a couple of dollars. For me, it was always surprising. And here you are the perfect example. Like you love the art, you know how to do the shit, you understand the process. You don't understand the process, but you decided to start it. What's helped you out? It's your agency, definitely, because you have seen that it's possible. It's worked out. You got idea from it, definitely, and you got experience from it. So now it's working for you. And I love that stuff because really, when I'm going through the streets and seeing that kind of stuff, I feel sad. Like, come on, like musicians, you are incredible. Why you staying here? Do not apply yourself on such kind of stuff like operas or movies, cartoons, because everywhere needs musicians for different industries. So here what I'm trying to say that well done. I mean, you find out the blue ocean market and it's related to your art desire. And now you combining all together. It's a small steps. It's like, come on, company only a couple of months old. Guys, listen carefully. This person handled the brand for 3 months plus. And I knew about her brand when it was even less than 2 weeks on the market. It's really powerful approach. Seriously, Rachael, well done, because on the first weeks, on the first days of your just startup, me, person from Europe, was already aware that something is going on. Everyone are sharing with each other this kind of gifts, this kind of deliveries, and with this kind of approach, you're building the name, you are building the brand. And I more than believe that in a couple of years, most probably you'll have your own factory, which is going to be produced. Factory, let's say, art design studio, huge one, where it's going to be hundreds of people doing the handcrafts, and you're going to be huge on Etsy, on Amazon, on e-commerce space. This is how I see your future. And I'm wondering, how do you see your future from your end?
Nothing ever goes according to plan. You can always expect things not to go the way that you want them to, or for things to change. But in this point of time, the way I see it is like, at least a few years from now, have all my fulfillment and studio set up, have my own studio in Nashville, have, maybe like 10 people doing it, because I want to keep it really like artist centered. Like, you're getting work from a master who teaches the next generation of masters. Everything's going to be trained from me until someone's full mastery, and then they go down that way. Kind of in a pod structure, but very, keeping that high quality. And then on my end, I also want to make sure that I have like an empire of a YouTube channel where everyone knows if they want an extreme project to come to me. If you want a full body suit of just like a ghillie suit of rugs, you got me. You want me to make your entire car a rug, I will do it. I want to kind of build up that kind of innovation empire while still having fulfillment taken care of. So that's what I see on that future end. Branding, there's one client I will never ever say no to. I built up their entire brand, and they have custom labels. It's called It's Paradise. So they're souvenir candles, and every label is a destination spot, and they're actually moving to the mainland. I will always make those labels. They're hand-drawn, they're super custom. I can't leave them hanging. But right now, it's looking like the rug dealer is going to take over.
That's awesome. I mean, I really see the bright future with that, and this is the general stuff. General stuff. What I'm trying to say for YouTube, it's things which is really taking off because super unique, no exact niche. I mean, art. People. I'm not an art person, but I love to watch art in some time. So it's a super general, broad audience which is gonna be watching it and interested in it, and I highly recommend you to record like reels, shorts, especially TikToks with what you're making. Like start from how you made a couple of them, and after that, when you start taking off from with the eyeballs on your brand, just after that, share with them the journey. This is how I choose the materials. This is like, oh my god, I got the project 60 rugs for 30 days. I took the challenge. Look how that goes. And then after that, on sleepless nights and all that stuff, just in 60 seconds, a couple of minutes, or 14 minutes for YouTube, that's like people gonna be watching like Netflix. I am more than sure, because this is who you are. You're showing them, and you're making that by hands. Wow, I love that. I mean, I'm really surprised and having a huge pleasure to have you on the podcast, and hopefully that this podcast even promote you as well, your brand, because you deserve it. As I said, first weeks when your brand was exist, I already knew about it. I have seen several people were receiving it, and actually I was staying on your rugs on the Human Media. I like when came in, I like here as well. It was like that. So it's good. I mean that people recognize, and I was thinking already about you because we already met. I been in Human Media after that. I'm like, wow, okay, that's cool. After that, I've been in another office. What was that? In another state. I don't want to lie. But the thing is that I have seen the rug as well. And the thing is that approach which you're making shows us that it will work out. It's already working out. You need just to think of the best way future which you see. And as I can see, it's gonna be even not like enterprise of the ecom stuff. It's more like art studio for the unique designs, for the unique deals, and like mostly working with the companies. Awesome. Really, it's just my feedback to you, what I just heard, and I really wish you good luck on it, and definitely support from several huge influencers which is surrounding us, and from our industry which you're already doing. They are really can to show up your stuff to more and more people out there. I have one question left, which is usually I'm asking everyone, and would like to hear your opinion. And here I believe I already know the answer, because you're a person who is really like creating, but really want to hear like on your words, what would you choose, the journey or end result?
It's always the journey, because it never actually ends. I don't know what end result anyone's ever looking for, unless you're talking about when you die, that's the end. Because everything's changing. So it's always a journey. You might as well enjoy it while you're going there, because it's never going to end.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. For someone, end result it's like exit from the business. From someone, end result it's just like I scale already 3 different businesses. I won't just retire. I mean, but definitely for me, end results it's like subtitles in the not subtitles in the end of the movie, but we don't have the movie, so it means only when we die. I don't want to die. I mean, I'm not looking for the end of result. That's especially why I knew I predict your answer, because you're creative. You're creating. So now the kind like make it. You're not building this business for exit. You're building this business because you who you are, and this is what you love, and that makes this business even more unique. And you're not looking to make a billion corporation from it. You're looking to make it multiple 7-8 figures evaluation, but not about sell, just about what you're gonna be doing, and that's cool. That's real stuff. Awesome, dear. Do you have anything specific from your end? What you would like to offer our audience, or maybe promote yourself, please? I'm all in. I'm here to help that.
Not so much as like a sales, but I guess if you're an ecom brand right now and you're just staring at your team and you're like, we need to do something different. If you just want to hop on a call and talk with me, I'm more than happy to just have a conversation like this one and talk about different ways that you can take your brand. Because even if I don't end up keep doing branding, I am still a reservoir of ideas. I could help brands until the day I die. It just comes about time management. But if you want, I would be more than glad to hop on a call and actually help anyone suit out what kind of partnerships they need or any other angles, what kind of design elements that they need. I'll essentially give your brand an audit if you'd like. So
Awesome.
Not really salesy, just an offer.
Yeah, I understand that. That's cool. And I will tell you guys, really, if you're looking for example, Unicrax or a person who will be just dive into your business and make the audit, what can be worked out for you in terms of new partnerships, I believe the Rachael really good option for that, because I don't know anyone with the same experience, with the same direction in the business, and definitely that's a great way to understand and brainstorming for yourself about where you are going and how you can expand horizontally in terms of taking the right eyeballs in front of your brand. And as well, what I would love to add is that this podcast will go live quite later than we are recording. So since you're listening that now, believe me, she could be already busy with more orders, with the more attention to the brand. So if you want to catch her out, just don't miss in the below all the links to her social media, all the information. Go have a look on the Rug Dealer Instagram. Everything is going to be added under the podcast. And if you want to have this kind of audit from Rachael, hurry up, because later on you're going to be staying in the queue. Thank you for everyone for listening. Rachael, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and it was enjoyable time for me, and I really wish you good luck, and I know that you're gonna beat that and surprise the world. Thank you, dear.
Thank you as well. It's been a pleasure talking to you.